And we do this every Tuesday with my man, Dusty Vision. As I look on my screen, I see him right there. But before I bring him in, we got to do it like this, y'all. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks, you are live with the Godfather of West Coast hip-hop, from Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. We're still doing it live, folks. Dusty Vision.
Man, how are you, dude?
Ain't like we're here just trying to shine, baby. Just trying to shine.
How are you, dude? Always looking forward to these Tuesday conversations, man. Let me fix my shit.
Man, I do too, Doc.
Looking forward to these Tuesday conversations. Most definitely. Hold on, let me turn this down. Sorry, man. I wasn't fully prepared. All right, cool, man. Yeah, man. Always a lot of stuff to talk about, man. I see you've been busy again this week, man.
Yeah, man. My boy Orange Juice Jones, he had to put me on hold for a second, but like a true man of the word, he said he coming on Monday. He did. We had a great show, man. We had a great show.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, check it out, folks. It's on the channel. You know where to find it at.
Yeah. Make sure you guys check that out. I'm telling you, Lonzo is bringing a lot of great content. He also had the chance to sit down with Sir Jinx, and they did a nice, dope interview. I encourage everybody out there to go in the archives and check that out as well.
Yeah, I had the Jinx interview had a minor technical difficulty because it was so spontaneous. We didn't have a chance to correct some of the audio issues, so we had an echo. Man, I ain't had an echo in so damn long. I forgot how to fix it, dude. I don't know. I forgot how to fix it, so I had to just let him do all the talking. And Jinx is good. He's a great interviewer, so all I did is let him do his thing, man.
Well, let's get into it, man. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to try to catch up on a couple of questions that we got last week from the audience as well. We always like to show love to our audience, and feel free to put a comment in the chat and we'll get to it. I promise. If we don't get to it today, we will get to it next week. That's my word. But let's start with the first thing. WeTV is set to debut a docuseries called The Mysterious Death of Eazy-E. Have you heard about that?
Ooh, yeah.
And I know you don't want to get too deep into it about your thoughts on what really happened to Eazy-E, but let's go back to that time when you take us back to the day or the time when you first heard that Eazy was sick.
I first heard Eazy was sick, man. At first, Eazy had bronchitis. It was a known fact. He had some minor breathing issues, and we figured it was another run to the hospital, get a quick treatment, be back home. And as time progressed, things started looking a little more suspicious, and that's when the whole community kind of like, what's going on? And then they came out with that damn statement that Eazy's supposed to have wrote to his fans, which was total bullshit. And that's when the suspicion started to come around, man. I think that letter, that so-called statement, made more people suspicious than anything else, man. Because if you knew Eazy, he didn't talk like that. I know somebody probably wrote it for him, but they didn't even remotely try to make it sound like it was something he had done, or they tried to make it sound like something he had wrote, but they didn't do a good job.
That letter you brought up, that's so interesting. Yeah, I cried when I heard that letter. I remember them playing on 92.3 The Beat.
Yeah. And it was a real somber moment, man, because especially around here, Eazy would still come around. He might have been in my house maybe a month, 6 weeks before he died, man, because Eazy would pop through all the time. He would pop through all the time, and because he felt comfortable over here, and he would meet his bodyguards, the big twins, and he'd meet him over here, or he'd be live and said he was someplace he was supposed to be. Then he'd get here. I'm over Lonzo's house. And then the twins or big what's his name? Big man would show up, and they roll off, take care of business from there. But he was here at one point in time watching Eazy when Yella was doing the porno shit. My house was the spot. I wasn't married, so having girls running in and out, that was just a byproduct. So he would come out and hang out. I never saw him participate in no shit like that. Some people say that was no. He would just come out like everybody else and just check out the girls. And at one point in time, rumor has he thought about investing with Yella. And then before he could anything jumped off, he was pretty much he was out of here, man.
Yeah.
He was out of here.
Now I know we're not going to share your personal thoughts on the consequences surrounding his death. But let's take it back to AIDS. You were around when AIDS, I was a kid, I was 6, so I don't really get it, didn't really get it back then. But you were around when AIDS was at its peak in the 80s, early 90s. Was it common for someone to die as quickly as Eazy-E did?
Hell no. And that was probably the biggest, that made it the most suspect, because at that time, and I remember when AIDS first made its debut on the planet. It was a big thing because we just come out the sexual revolution and everybody was screwing everybody. Okay, that was like, come on, man. Let's do it. And all of a sudden, here come AIDS. Now, that changed everything, because up until then, if you got some kind of so-called sexual disease, get a penicillin shot, go lay up for a couple of days, you're good to go by the weekend. Just like that. Okay, 3 days and you're good to go. When AIDS hit, man, it was a whole nother mindset. And I remember very distinctly when Rock Hudson was the first celebrity I remember that had AIDS. And because Rock Hudson was so big and AIDS was so new, it was like every day on the news, Walter Cronkite or Jerry Dunphy from Channel 2, whatever it was, would give an update on Rock Hudson's condition. Today, Rock Hudson, actor and superstar, resting comfortably in his home in Beverly Hills as he deals with complications from AIDS. This went on for like months. And then Magic, and for me, when Magic had HIV, it affected me because at that time I was promoting a record called Doggy Style, and the radio stations stopped promoting anything that had anything to do with sex. So my boys had a great song called Doggy Style, and KGLH was trying to was looking for the record. I had it, and as soon as I gave it to them, 2 days later, bam, we can't play that. We put in all records that got anything to do with sex. So all this right here was going on, and then Magic when he had HIV, all of a sudden he ain't got nothing no more. He's still here. At that time, I would think that Eazy had more money than Magic. At that time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, if not just as much, he had enough to get what he needed to get the same treatment. But for some reason, he got the express version. I ain't never heard of an express version of AIDS before, man. I ain't never heard no 10 days from diagnosis to death. I had never heard that before. Nobody had. Nobody had. And for nobody to be, his family, nobody don't know how he contracted it. No girl, nobody ever come up. You know what? I think I gave Eazy, after all these years, I think I'm the reason why Eazy had AIDS. Because his wife was pregnant with one of his kids at the time. There was nothing, man. Nothing. So all these factors make the whole situation very suspect. And that's the part that people just can't quite accept. You mean tell me nobody know where it came from? He died super fast from it. He was married in the hospital. There was no autopsy. There was come on. You telling me too much? There's too much suspicious stuff is happening to just say, okay, this is what happened. You walk in the hospital single with bronchitis. You roll out dead and married. That don't never look good.
To the best of your knowledge, when did he sign everything over to Tamika Wright, meaning Ruthless Records?
According to everybody I know, while he was in the hospital. And even with that, man, I was talking about that today on a Clubhouse chat. Follow me on Clubhouse, folks, if you get a chance to. I'm on Clubhouse from time to time. And I knew Eazy pretty well. And he would always, it wasn't nothing for him to have Lil E in tow when he come by the house. It wasn't nothing. So for him to not look out for his people, and here's something else. At that time, he had a slew of lawyers around him. I'm quite sure it seemed to me there would be some way for him to take care of his folks. He had like 6 or 7 kids at that time. And for them not to be included in something in his will, that don't even sound right, man. That don't sound right. That don't even feel right. Not for Eazy. Now I know he had a bunch of girls that got cut off. Now that's understandable. He was buying apartments and cars, whatever. Cars got repossessed and leases got canceled. It is what it is. But he was a player. Okay.
Yeah.